Hey folks, so this video is going to be about pallet wood and specifically removing nails out of pallet wood. If you've ever done any pallet wood projects, you know you're going to spend at least half of the time just getting the nails out of the wood. And there's a lot of other great videos out there. You know, Izzy Swan's got a good one about dealing with pallet wood. This video is sort of just going to be about my experience with different methods and tools that I tried to use, and then specifically too about what to do if you need to save these stringers. So the stringers are the long part underneath the top of the pallet that are parallel to the forks of the forklift. This is usually the biggest and heaviest piece of wood in a pallet. If it's a really heavy duty pallet, sometimes these spiral cut and often glued nails can be extremely difficult to remove out of these stringers. So we'll spend some time talking about that. If you don't need to maximize all the wood that you save out of the pallet, you're just worried about the top part, maybe for decoration or, overlaying or something like that. Definitely the fastest way to break down a pallet is just to cut the top parts off and then not worry about taking any nails out. If you do want to save these stringers, no matter if you cut them like this and then knock out these extra pieces or you break them down with a pallet wrecking bar, it can be extremely difficult to get these nails out. We talk about the tools that I tried to do that. Some folks talk about using these nippers. This is a really nice Nip-X set of nippers, and they work great for small nails. But with these spiral cut nails, they're just going to laugh at you. No way you're going to get them out with a set of nippers like this. I had kind of decent luck with these combination nail pulling pliers. You can get these at your orange box store. Really recommend getting a set of these no matter what you do with pallets. They're great for pulling out small nails, straightening nails. With some of these spiral cut nails, I was able to get them out. You might bend a few, snap the heads off a few. But I had okay luck. But when you did break one, then you actually had to get in there with a chisel, dig down even further, and really try even harder to get that buried nail out or scrap the whole stringer, because obviously you can't send one of these nails through a table saw. One thing that I didn't really see in the context of YouTube pallet videos was talking about a slide hammer. And this was really the tool that I had the best success with. So I went and got a slide hammer at Harbor Freight. It's decent, pretty good quality, worked well for me. You'll need to match it to a 10-inch set of vice grips, and you really need to use a good set of quality vice grips, and the jaws need to be as hard as possible, and I would recommend getting some that have serrated tips there at the end. I tried a set of Milwaukee's that did not have a serrated tooth at the very, very tip like these Irwins did. They were not as good for pulling nails out. I actually ordered a set of Nip-X vice grips or locking pliers, thinking they might be higher quality. They really weren't, and then on top of that, they actually had a metric thread, which wasn't going to work for the SAE thread on the slide puller. So really, you'll find most, made for the North American market anyway, vice grips that are 10-inch will have the same thread that'll thread right into the very tip of that slide rule. Or a slide hammer rather, and you'll want to get a slide hammer set that has this adapter right here with a threaded end so that you can go in there. Really, I found just my made in China generic Irwin vice grips were the best for the job. I'd like to get a set of snap-ons and try those, mainly because the snap-ons have a little jam nut back here, and one of the difficulties with using the slide hammer is as you do it, the vice grips become unthreaded from the slide hammer, so you got to tweak them back in. That jam nut would keep that from happening. I also tried a couple of the old style nail pullers. We got two different styles there, pretty much worthless. Did not like those at all. I think they're more designed for pulling nails out of hardwood floors. Not a great application here. So really what to do with the slide hammer is lock the vice grip on the nail. You don't want to be too far away from the vise so you're not losing energy and jerking the vise around, and then just pull directly out towards you. One of the neat things you'll see with that, with these spiral cut nails, is the vice grips will actually sort of rotate as it comes out, and that's it sort of unscrewing itself out of the wood. You definitely need a good high quality vise. I had an older 4-inch vise on here that I took off because I was afraid I was going to break it. So I actually went up to a 6.5-inch Wilton, just the biggest vise you can get, and even maybe one that doesn't have the ability to rotate, just because you're going to be working very hard to pull these nails out and really beating on that vise. In fact, I had to actually screw my workbench into the concrete wall behind us because I really was just wasting a lot of energy jerking the vise and the workbench away from the wall trying to pull these nails out. That worked really well for me. It's definitely work. You're going to be sweating when you do it. I also like to set up with some buckets to throw some scraps into. On the top parts of the pallets, to drive these nails out here, if you break them down with a wrecking bar or you cut the sides, you still have the center nails you got to get out. I found this trick on another YouTube video. Just set up a piece of MDF or plywood or something with a hole cut in it. You can position the block of wood over the hole, drive the nail out. When I had a lot to do, I actually set up this air chisel with a head on the end that was rounded that could drive the nails out. It was almost as fast just to use a hammer. So if I'm only going to be working for an hour or two, I just use the hammer to drive them out and then collect them in that bucket below. So like I said, a lot of other great videos with pallet wood projects out there on YouTube. This one hopefully just cues you into using the slide hammer and maybe a discussion about what tools you should invest in if you decide to tackle this. So thanks for your time.